organizers, I'm going to take you guys to the Red Canyon in this video, along with showing you how we saved a deer off of the road. But first off, let me show you a little bit of the journey. This is the swimming pool that Ev and I were like, this is too gorgeous to not use it at least once. So we took a quick dip right in the morning, right before we left, and then headed over to get the horses. And this is a little look at where they stayed while we were at Bryce Canyon. They had these outdoor stalls with their hay and their water side by side. And then check out how gorgeous this is. We decided to take a quick pit stop at the Red Canyon, or what we thought was the Red Canyon, when we were leaving. Our trail guide, who also owned that area where we were with the mules, said, yeah, like you can get pictures with Nova and with Alicia at the Red Canyon. It's just like up the road, kind of explained where it was. And so as we're leaving, we're thinking that this is the stop that he was talking about. As you guys are going to see coming up in the video, it is not the stop because the patrol officers may or may not appear later in this video. And we came and we just like, it's so gorgeous. We wanted to just get a few pictures. And because Franny didn't take Nova on the Slots Canyon ride, she rode the mule instead. So she wanted to come and get some pictures with Nova as well, with this super unique backdrop, because we don't have anything like this at all where we are in Ontario, not even sort of. So this is really a unique opportunity to be able to take the horses out, and look how gorgeous this is here, just with the water and the rock formations, absolutely stunning. And so I did a little bit on the ground with Alicia and then just took her for a little walk. And our goal was to spend like 20 minutes here. You can see Franny and Nova there on the left. They were doing some pictures. So we weren't really doing like any big trail ride. The horses literally had gotten out of their little stalls and hopped on the trailer. It's maybe half-hour drive into our drive, and then just coming for a little bit of a walk. So it's a little opportunity for them to stretch their legs. Of course, little Evie getting in there for some photos as well, my little 3-year-old daughter there. So we were just kind of goofing around, getting a few pictures. Didn't want to spend a ton of time because we have to make it all the way back to Colorado during this drive. So that way we can get to our evening stop. Evelyn actually forgot her Teddy in Colorado. So this is where she gets to get reunited with Teddy at the end of the day when we finally get back to the same hotel that we stopped at. And originally we were going to do a different route along the way home. But, and that was to accommodate Franny going to a horse show, which she decided she could cancel out on, which meant we could postpone our driving a little bit more. We could take a little bit more time and go back to the same stops that we did on the way down in Colorado and Illinois on the way down, which was so much nicer. Meant that we actually had time to stop and do this little bit of a ride and get these beautiful pictures, because it's absolutely stunning. Because otherwise we were going to get done. I think we were going to try to aim to do 14 hours of driving in each day, and instead we were able to do 10, 10, and 8 hours of driving, split it up into the 3 days. So that was a lot better. So we were super grateful for that. And here we're just kind of playing around with the beautiful area. There's so many gorgeous areas in Utah. It's definitely got to be, I think, my favorite state. It was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful, and yet also still had a lot of vegetation and grass for the horses and had hay fields. It was kind of like desert, but not all desert at the same time. But honestly, the whole trip is absolutely stunning. You guys are going to get to see a tiny little bit of the drive on the way home as well. And then here, I thought, you know what, this actually looks like it's an okay water to cross. So I took Lissy into the water, and then it's fresh water here. She was just really enjoying standing in the water and putting her face in and having a bit of a drink. So we ended up chilling in the water for quite a few minutes. I'm showing you guys a little bit of it here, but I ended up actually cropping a fair bit of the video footage out, because I think we ended up standing in here for about 5 minutes or so, which is quite a lot. I think she just really enjoyed the super fresh water and just having the nice cool water running across her legs there, because she was in no hurry to get out of that water. And I was like super impressed, because she hasn't done a lot of water and hasn't really done a really fast running stream like this. So I was just pretty impressed with her that she went right into the water and that it was a pretty easy task for her. I know we've crossed, little streams, and she has gone to the ocean in the past. It's just not something that we get to do very often. So I was just super impressed with her. And of course, completely bridleless without, doing any type of schooling or warm up or anything like that. So just another testament to how much our partnership has grown over the last year, because you guys remember her as a dragon, and every time we're pulling her out, she is just showing me how amazing she is. Being able to ride away from Nova, go off to do her own little thing here, sometimes being with Nova, sometimes not being with Nova. In the last video, you guys saw her be able to do the ride with the mules and getting on that trailer with the mules and leaving Nova behind, letting my 3-year-old daughter ride her through the Rocky Mountains. Like, she's just done so many things on this trip that I'm just so grateful, because I feel like we have a much closer bond and relationship because of it. And really that's what it's all about, is developing a relationship with your horse where you just have that calm connection and feel like you can quite literally go anywhere. And this trip has definitely proven that for me, and just show me too that you can have a horse that's having a really hard time and there really is hope. They can change and they can improve. And as we're walking out here, I'm just exploring just a little bit of the area. It is so stunning. I'm not sure if the beauty actually comes across in the video, because it is absolutely just jaw-dropping, and everywhere you turn, the scenery just completely changes. So it's all a little bit different as you're going around. And I wish I had so much more time here to explore because of the absolute beauty. It was such a tease to only be there for about 20 minutes or so is what we ended up spending there. And we went down a little bit of the path, and I realized that there was a really cool looking bridge up ahead. So I was like, Freddie, come on, you gotta check this out. Come over here and see this bridge. Because of course, when we see a challenge, we're like, we gotta try it. So Freddie ends up coming over, and we're gonna try the bridge. We're like, okay, we're running out of time, so we really don't have a lot more time, but let's just go across the bridge. And I thought it'd be fun to just trot up the hill a little bit and turn around and come back. That's literally, we were on our last little bit of what we were going to do, and we knew that we were pressed for time and had to get on our way anyways. So we're literally just riding down this little path here, going to turn around and come back towards the bridge. And then of course there's going to be a surprise officer that shows up. So when we came out here, we were just going off of what the trail guide with the mules had told us to, go ahead, stop, take photos at the Red Canyon. And we saw this pullover spot where the truck, space for the truck and trailer to stop, and thought that this was it, where we were allowed to go. And it turns out that it is not where we were supposed to be. This is supposed to be a walking trail only, like a people trail only, not even a dog trail. So we did not realize that, and we apologize. And there is the officer coming to tell us that we should not be there. So we did not video the rest of the way back, and we just apologized profusely and headed on our way. Apparently the Red Canyon was about another 20 minutes up the road. So we apologize for that greatly. We did not end up stopping at the Red Canyon because we already had that other stop and we're running out of time. But then as we're going across, there's this deer in the middle of the road. And so we weren't really sure what was going on. We were going to kind of try to shoo him out of the road. We thought maybe he was lying on the road because the road is warm. And then when we get closer, we're not really sure what is going on. So Franny, being Franny's like, well, we can't leave the deer on the road. It's going to get hit or cause a car accident. And we weren't really sure if his legs were broken or what was going on with him, but we thought at the very least he needs to get off the road. So Franny just goes up in like a total superhero and carries this deer off to the side of the road to put it in a safer spot. And then, of course, we wanted to make sure that he didn't have any broken legs or anything like that. So we kind of checked out his legs. Doesn't seem to have any broken legs, no obvious bleeding or anything. just a little bit kind of where his, I guess his antlers would be. So we're not sure if maybe he's a young buck that was like having a fight with another one or something. We're not really sure, but he didn't seem to be broken in any way. So we called the, we tried calling the local police, who kind of gave us a bit of a runaround. We ended up calling the, I think it was the wildlife, something to do with the wildlife transportation, and let them know about them. And then there were a couple of these gorgeous little spots along the way. And so if you have never made this drive going through Arizona and Nevada and Utah to Colorado, it is totally worth doing. And there's lots of these little stops where you could come to these little lookout points. This is Rita with Ev. Rita, who's been a total superstar along the whole way, keeping Ev company when I'm doing my crazy horse stuff, as well as helping with the horses. And here's just a little look at some of the drive. It's absolutely stunning. This part is as we're going from Utah to Colorado. So on the way there, it was a totally different drive because we went more west through Wyoming and kind of out that way, whereas this time we went from California and did the other states, and it's just incredible to see the difference. And so there's most of the time where you go around the mountains and the rock formations, but sometimes you go in tunnels, which is pretty cool. And then the scenery completely changes as you here we're into Colorado, and we're now driving up into the mountains. So I'm sure it was a little bit confusing for the horses because sometimes it was really, really hot. And then now when we're in the mountains, there is snow. And it is quite cool. There's not snow on the ground part, but there's snow in the mountains, and it's definitely a temperature drop for sure. And you can see just how high we were up in the elevation there. Like there's still snow in this town. Not a lot of snow, like it's mostly up in the paths and in the like the areas where the sun's not shining as much, but still it's cold and it's chilly. But those pieces were pretty short-lived for the horses, where we would be up and we could shut the windows if we needed to, and then we would be driving back down the mountain and the temperature would go up again. So I'm sure it was very confusing for them. We had temperature controlled inside the truck, but they did not. The best we could do was adjust their windows for them, whether they were fully open or if they were closed. We also have some roof vents for the horses as well. And we ended up following the river alongside. It was really, really beautiful, that drive, as we're coming around. And then we ended up stopping at our same old stops to finish off our drive. And it's so beautiful to do this different drive on the way there. But I'll just show you guys. We're back at our Colorado barn, which you may recognize from our way down. And you can see Lissy, even though she's a 5-year-old thoroughbred, she can still be led out of the barn by my 3-year-old to get to the trailer. I don't let my 3-year-old load her on the trailer because I don't want her to get squished by accident. But she still comes out to the trailer really nicely. You can see little Ev got this little air water video game. We kept calling it her video game. So she had lots of different things to stay occupied. And then here we are back at our next stop, coming out from where we stay at the round pens. And even though we've been on the road for so long, you can see Lissy's still happy to get on the trailer. So it has been one incredible road trip. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.